Welcome to my channel. My name is Ria and today we're going to talk about the full moon happening in the sign of Capricorn. Now, full moons bring endings. They're a completion point, a culmination point. Full moons are emotionally charged because the sun and the moon oppose each other. Our emotions and our soul is opposing. So it's an emotionally charged point. So this full moon is no different. It will bring completions, endings, things coming to a close, emotional highs, emotional lows, that kind of thing. Now, this one is at 29 degrees of Capricorn. And if you recall, last full moon was also in the sign of Capricorn. So this is the second full moon in the sign of Capricorn. The last one was at the beginning of Capricorn at 1 degree, and this one's at the end of Capricorn at 29 degrees. Right, so Capricorn is highlighted. Capricorn is a Saturn ruled sign. Saturn is in Pisces right now, and Capricorn is all about being practical. It's about planning. It's about planning for the long run. It's about working towards your goals systematically. It's about structure. It's about setting things in stone. It's about committing. It's about decisions. Since it is a Saturn ruled sign, it's not a very easy energy. It does ask us to work hard, take those tough decisions, do those tough things. So that's where we're at with this full moon as well. If you guys know your personal charts, look for 29 degrees of Capricorn. That's where this energy is coming in for you. So that area of your life will be highlighted. If you don't know your charts, this video can be helpful for you as well if you don't know your charts. So let's get into the energy a little bit more. Now, let's talk about Capricorn for a moment, right? Last full moon was in Capricorn. This full moon is in Capricorn. And what does this mean? This means a lot of things because Capricorn has had a lot of activity in the recent past. Pluto, which is now in Aquarius, you can see 0 Aquarius, was in Capricorn from 2008 to 2023 March. Then it entered Aquarius very briefly, and then it went back into Capricorn. Jan 2024, it re-entered Aquarius, but Pluto is not done with Capricorn. It will go back September to November of this year. What does all this mean? It means that as Pluto is now in Aquarius and will be post-November completely, it's not going to come back into Capricorn. We are working on closing a 15 to 16 year cycle, 2008 to 2023 into 2024. We are closing themes, chapters related to that cycle in our lives. And with the full moon last month into this month, a lot of emphasis was on the past coming up in a way, or themes from the past, or thoughts from the past coming up in a way for us to finally review and close out. So these two moons were very important for us in terms of closing out a major chunk of the past 16 year cycle. However, we are still not fully done. I would say 99% done, but September into November, we will still go back and revisit these themes because Pluto will go back into Capricorn where we have the moon. It will be at 29 degrees, right, Pluto? So a lot of the past has been closed out, is closing out, and we will continue to do so till the end of this year. So in a nutshell, the last moon and this moon could have brought up a lot of stuff from the past for us to review and close out. And Saturn, the ruler of Capricorn, is in Pisces. Right, Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. It does represent the past as well. It does represent closing out chapters as well. So there's a lot about ending things that's happening as we speak, and with Saturn in Pisces, these endings will continue for a longer time than November, say into next year, right? So a lot of past stuff closing out. And the last full moon a month ago, this full moon, are big milestones for us in terms of closing out the past. Moving on, this moon is sitting next to Pluto. You can see Pluto is at 0 degrees, the moon is at 29, and they are really, really close. And Pluto brings endings, Pluto brings transformation, Pluto brings things coming to the surface, right? If there's something hidden, if there's something secretive, if there's something that's buried, it will expose it, it will bring it to the surface. So on a collective level, this can bring up things to the surface. On a personal level and a collective level, this can bring endings, this can bring a major change, this can bring a major transformation. And it is not surprising that this energy is also there, because with the full moons in Capricorn, we have been putting in a lot of work to end things, to close things out. And the fact that this moon is next to Pluto is just telling me that that ending, that change, that transformation is very strong around this full moon point, around this weekend. So Pluto energy is not always easy, right? Pluto energy can feel intense. It can feel very heavy. It can feel like we must let go. We must let go of a lot of what we know, right? Because that's what Pluto makes us do. It makes us dig everything, right? It renews completely. So when we are renewing, or when we are beginning in a major way, we are required to let go of what we know, right? So we might be really required to let go of past ideas, concepts, thoughts, theories about things, or about how we do things. It could just be a renewal in that sense. But Pluto also brings renewal. So it's not always endings and letting go. Yes, that's a part of it, but think about it. For every renewal, for every beginning, for everything, for anything to change, the past, the old is let go of, right? Is changed. It works together, the new and the old. So we are doing that in a big way. The next thing I want to talk about is the fact that Neptune is aspecting the moon. Right, Neptune is retrograde now, and Neptune is at the last degree of Pisces. It's been here for a decade plus, I believe 2011. Right, it's been here since 2011, for a long time. It's been in Pisces, and it will be here for some time, but it's at the last degrees of Pisces. So it's finishing up in Pisces, and Neptune at the last degree of Pisces can be very intense as well. It can bring up a lot of creativity and spirituality, but it can also bring up a lot of confusion. That being said, this aspect with the moon is a positive one. So what this can tell me is that maybe there's a lot of intuitive energy around this point, around this time period. Maybe there's a lot of creative energy around this time period, right? So we must focus and trust our intuition. We must trust our intuition as well. So that's there. We also have Pluto and Mars in a positive aspect, right? A month ago, about 40 days ago, they were in a square, a challenging aspect. And at that point, about 40 days ago, power struggles or difficulty in getting along, or not seeing eye to eye, right? Clashes, that sort of thing could have been really magnified. But this is a positive aspect. So this can signify that those power struggles are now over, easing off. Maybe we found a way to move past those. Maybe we found a way to deal with those. So I just wanted to touch upon this before I move on to the next aspect, right? For the next aspect, I want to talk about the fact that we have Mercury building up. It's square, 90-degree angle to Uranus. Uranus is unpredictable, it's unexpected, it's a lot of energy, and Mercury is our mind, it's communication, it's all the little things, and Uranus can also bring change. So what this tells me is that a little after this moon point, we can maybe undergo some unexpected communication, maybe some epiphanies and insights can come about, maybe unexpected messages can come through, maybe there's a lot of mental stimulation. So that's what can happen, and this is a square, a challenging aspect, so just be mindful of that. This can also feel like a lot of energy, so it can feel overwhelming. So if that's happening, just keep in mind that this energy will pass, and just try to stay grounded and calm through that time period. Moving on to the next thing, we have the Saturn-Jupiter square getting closer and closer, right? I spoke about this in my last video. We have Jupiter in Gemini and Saturn in Pisces, and they're in a 90-degree configuration. And if you see, the degree difference is getting closer, right? So this is getting a little stronger than before the square aspect. And what this means is that themes from, say, 2020 are coming back up in a way, and that's because Jupiter and Saturn met up in 2020, December 2020, and now they're at their square point. So themes related to 2020 can be coming up as well. Now, the next thing I want to mention is that we have Saturn retrograde, Neptune retrograde, and we have Pluto retrograde, right? So more retrogrades than we've been in, say, last month. And what this means is things are slowing down. The beginning few months of this year were very fast, a lot happened, and now things seem to be slowing down. Retrogrades mean review. Retrogrades mean a time to go back to something that we've already started and rework that, make it better, take it to the next level. So I just wanted to mention this, and in a nutshell, coming back to this full moon in Capricorn, this is an important one, right? This is about closing out the past in a big way. We will continue to close out the past till November, then again as Saturn moves through the sign of Pisces, but this is a big milestone when it comes to ending the past. With Pluto sitting right next to the moon, this can be very transformative. This can bring about big changes. So just keep that in mind. Mercury and Uranus are making a 90-degree angle. This can bring insights, epiphanies, unexpected communication and messages. This can also be a little overwhelming, so just keep that in mind. Overall, Pluto can feel a little heavy. It can feel a little intense, so just keep that in mind as well. Now we have Pluto, Saturn, and Neptune retrograde. Things are slowing down a little, so just keep that in mind. So I'll leave it at that for this video, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.